Welcome to my third match and my third video. Um, Today we are playing another map. So I give you a short overview what were my thoughts as I saw this map. Um, as you can see, you have only +2 sectors on the left side of the map. And if you control these sectors, these +2 sectors, and you supply sector golf, then you have +5. Together with your home sector you have +6. If you let control the enemy all the other sectors, he will only have +5 and it will not be sufficient to win this match over the time for him. Um, Therefore I thought to bring only a key or a small defensive position up to the right side to set it up here in this forest to cover hotel. I will bring in the command to hotel on this forest, and I have little defensive position in this forest, and if there is an engagement I can analyze this engagement and take the decision if I move back my command or if I'll let it in this position. To cover the right side I will only bring one Jackra or one Scout Defender to cover this area, that he will not sneak to my backline. On the left side my first thoughts were to engage the city, because the city is also a key in this map. If you control the city, you control all the fields around the city. Therefore I take the decision to take Yakra in a helicopter to move as fast as possible to this building to set up a defensive position and get a clue which units he's bringing in to Delta or to Alpha. Then, furthermore, I played Nazem from the startup, because my thoughts were if I set up here my main army in this little forest and to push Alpha on a later stage, then I have nearly 80% later of my army in this little sector, and therefore I brought in directly from the startup a high anti-air capability, that he's starting bombers, that he directly knows, okay, leave this sector as soon as you can, otherwise Nathan will take you down, to get some psychological things to take in consideration. Yeah, for another setup I brought in the Jackra with vehicles and some anti-tank and anti-air. That's it. Marine Jackra, as always in the startup, I directly bring to the right side to hopefully get through the right side to his backline and to identify some targets in Echo. So my little defensive position reached the forest and are unload now to set up the position. My Jackra are also in position to get a clue what's coming in Alpha and Delta, or if he drives down the road or comes from this side, that my Jackra can attack the incoming units. So my Lynx dropped the Jackra and started directly again to moving forward to get a clue what's coming. I use my empty transport vehicles for recon purposes as well, as you saw in the second video, I think. And yeah, I think it's a good choice for every player, if you play a Conquest mod, to use your transport vehicles to get a clue what's coming up or what's in front of you. This Lynx is lying down and nothing happened, so I was wondering at this stage where is his army, and now he's set it up in command vehicle at Alpha, and therefore I got a bit nervous, because I thought he will rush from Alpha to Charlie directly, and I need to set up fast in defensive position. Therefore I ordered some Kust Jackra to get strength in the front line. As already told from the beginning, my Scout Defender is now here in position to cover these fields, because he has also a rocket pod and it will give me enough time to identify enemy units and to bring countermeasures. As well as on the left side, on the right side I also used my transport vehicles driving down the road, and I identified a recon vehicle and tank. So nothing moving forward or moving up to this position. Therefore, it will be covered sufficiently from these units which are already here. So, my Marine Chakra flying slowly down the right side. There is no anti-air. There is no recon from his side, and there are no countermeasures. As you can see in the whole overview, I have my Scout Defender on the right side. I'm now moving forward a bit to this position, I think, to cover this sector. But it's also key on each map to cover your flanks. On the left side, there's also a Scout Defender in place to cover this area, because if the enemy sneaks through this forest and set up here another front line, then you have a problem, because then you will be attacked in Charlie from two sides, and that's not really funny. So, another transport vehicle is going in the city. I played a bit defensive because I wasn't aware at this stage of the game where the enemy army was, and therefore I strengthened my defensive positions and yeah, waiting for more information. Now I got more information because something was firing on my transport vehicle and it was his command. Something is also key if you play Wargame. Switch off the main gun of your command vehicles and the guns of your command infantry, because as you saw, my truck will drive down the road and he would not see his command vehicle, but he did one mistake. He fired and therefore I could see his command vehicle. From my point of view, a clear mistake of my enemy. My Marine Chakra now behind enemy lines. I had the information based on my transport vehicles that there is no enemy in this sector, therefore I brought in a command to the forest, and to cover this command, one Kustjäger here at this crossroad to defend this crossroad, and if he will have an engagement with enemy troops, then I can take the decision to move back my command or hold a position. In the meantime, my Marine Chakra identified 4 vehicles. I didn't have any clue which vehicles that were, and I got the information that my enemy played in field operation base. Now I took my Marine Chakra a bit back and everything started moving around. My empty transporter now came under fire, so I got information that there was an AA gun. So my Marine Chakra are moving through the woods to get a better view, for example, to this position to identify the units which were standing there. And now something happened. There was another unit who started firing directly in the woods. So therefore I took the assumption that this could be the command vehicle. Therefore I set directly a ping to keep this in mind and started directly a bomber. On the left side something happened. I started a transport vehicle to engage his enemy command, and my transport vehicle took down his command. So this was a clear mistake from my enemy as well, because he should know that I have identified his command and he didn't move any countermeasures there. My Dragon is now flying to bomb his command, but now in the meantime he set it up an anti-air gun and my Dragon didn't reach the target. Therefore I lost 120 points, nothing happened. But in the meantime, on the left side, my transport vehicle killed his command vehicle. I couldn't believe that, because he should have been aware at this stage of the game that my truck beforehand identified his command because he was firing and killed the truck. Then he didn't move his command vehicle, nor he didn't set up any infantry to defend this command vehicle. So now it's +3 for me, and at this stage of the game I only played 1 bomber and some transport vehicles. That's it. So these are clearly not only micro, these are macro mistakes that are clearly strategic mistakes. Now, my empty links transporter is moving forward, and he identified another anti-A guns on the Alpha sector, and I have an anti-air gun now identified with my Jackro directly on the field. And these are easy targets for mortars, therefore I think I got some mortars on the map, one here on the left side and yeah, one for the right side, to counter his AA guns. Yeah, now I moved in another anti-tank crew to set it up here at this building to control this area, because I have good recon in the front line with my Jackra, and I can control it with this anti-tank weapon. So at this stage of the game I only saw some anti-air guns, I saw command vehicles, and that's it. I didn't see any infantry, and therefore I get a bit nervous, because somewhere he need to have his army. If it's here in the forest sneaking behind the front line, I didn't know what his plan was. So nevertheless, I start to move forward with my army on the left side to push into Alpha and to set another command position to have +5 if there are no countermeasures from his side. Now I saw this with my bomber that there was an AA gun, but I like to identify it with my helicopter, and now I have a clue that it's also a Flakpanzer Gepard A1. Therefore I moved this transport vehicle into the death. My defensive position here in the middle is still in place. As told, my Kustjäger. This Kustjäger defending my command vehicle. That's it, nothing more. Now I got some Jäger, some Kustjäger. I moved not a bit more to the forest line because I wasn't not aware what's there. Could be possible also yeah, a recon unit. So I'm marching forward with my army, and when my army is complete then I will engage the enemy. Yeah, I brought also a further Marine Jackra to bring it behind the lines to get a clue what's going on, because I didn't see the army. So I thought at this point where is the main army of my enemy. And the only possibility to see what is happening is to move forward, for example in Alpha or here. So my scout defender moved forward, identified another AA gun at this sector. So he played a lot of anti-air. Up to this point he only saw one bomber, and this bomber was down, and he bring in more and more anti-air guns. It was a bit strange for me, because no infantry, only tanks and AA guns. I couldn't believe that. Now I start firing with my mortar on this anti-air gun, and my vehicles, transport vehicles, driving down the road to bring down his anti-air gun. So my Kustjäger in position, my Jäger in position as well. But in the meantime I started a seed plane to bring down the whole anti-air guns. Kustjäger is a good position, and yeah, I was not attacking here on the left side because I couldn't believe that my transport vehicles are driving down the road to his home sector, and there was no defensive position, nothing, not one unit I saw from him. Now I identified his field operation base with my transport vehicle. Really strange game. I started firing with my mortars on his AA guns to bring them down or to shock them, and then I saw the reason behind where his army was, and he played very, very expensive tanks. These tanks are now moving because they were aware that they were identified, and I start to bring in the infantry into the city to take down these expensive tanks. Yeah, my transport vehicle reached his home base and nothing had happened. Now he brings some countermeasures to take down my transport vehicle. Now he started some recon. It was absolutely too late because that's the first recon unit I saw during the whole game from his side. And my Yagran now identified a whole army of him, which consists only of anti-air and Abrams tanks. So I started moving forward on the whole line. I had a clue that there is no infantry between us. My Kunstjäger bring down his recon, and now I've started F-16 MLU to snipe these expensive tanks. The anti-A guns were shocked with my mortars, but what now happened, another 2 AA guns appeared, so my F-16 MLU fired one rocket, and then I took the decision to bring it on the right side, because against 4 anti-air guns it could be very expensive, because F-16 MLU comes at a cost of 160. The first rocket missed the Abrams, so another second rocket I will not try based on the air defense. In meantime, he started to push, but it was too late. My Kunstjäger now engaged the Abrams, and my Kunstjäger will brown the Abrams very easily. Now 145 points are gone. In meantime, and another Abrams is moving down the road, and the second one is gone. In meantime, my F-16 MLU sniped another Abrams tank, and now I will not say he starts to push, but he moves his units a bit more to the front line, and there starts an engagement, but it's done. I started another seed plane to get down his anti-air and to cover my bomber, which fly on his Bradleys. Bradley comes at a cost of 35, I think. There are 4 of them. That could be very expensive for him, but they survived. The game is done at this point, so I brought another countermeasures, a TOW and the F-16 MLU to snipe this Abrams. So the Abrams is gone. F-16 MLU is evacing, and another TOW helicopter to cover this plane. Now he had another 4 anti-air units on this side, and I don't have a clue why he brought in so much anti-air. And at the end I think this game was lost from his side, because he brought very expensive units which were easy to snipe, and he brought some units which were not necessary at this stage. All in all, I think I saw 8 anti-air guns, and I brought in planes in a later stage. And I think he was not aware that I played only infantry, but to set up this map it's a key to bring a lot of infantry from my point of view. So therefore I will now show you the replay again a bit faster, because the key points you should already know at this stage. There were not that much engagement, that's very interesting. But let's identify some points I saw during this game. So let's stop here. My enemy played 1 Abrams tank, 3 commands and 1 for the home base, and 4 anti-air guns from the beginning. He took this decision, I do not know why, but to be honest, I also played Nathan from the startup, but I didn't play 4 Nathans from the startup. And he didn't see, at this stage, any helicopter nor any plane, and he played 4 AA guns from the startup. From my point of view, a clear mistake. If you want to control this map, you need to bring infantry or units into strategic positions, and you need to have a front line of the whole, through the whole map, and not a front line, let's say here in Foxtrot at this area and one here. That's a clear mistake from the building of the starting army. Then you can see another mistake. He's driving down 2 command vehicles without any support. You can't bring in the command vehicle to this sector, to Alpha, without support, with infantry support or with any tank support or anything else. I have also a command vehicle here at Hotel, but this command vehicle is covered by this strategic defensive position and the flanks with scout defenders. It's a no-go from my point of view to bring only a command vehicle to a sector and then leave the main gun active. Another mistake from my point of view is to have 4 AA guns on one point. It makes more sense from my point of view to bring one here, one here, one here, to have a front line. Yeah. My army is marching in. That's what I told before. This is sufficient to hold this little city, to snipe tanks on long range and to have some anti-helicopter or anti-airplane here, infantry here in position. That will be sufficient to hold this line, because keep in mind, if there is, for example, B5 bomber and this B5 bombs the city, all units in the city are gone, and therefore it should be not too expensive units or too much units in the city. This will be sufficient to hold this position. To hold this position as so long as the countermeasures could arrive at the front line. That's the only thought, that were my thoughts behind that. You need to set up defensive position, and their only job is to hold the front line as long as they can, to get my countermeasures enough time to move to the front line and push the enemy back. That's the only idea behind these front lines. Now, that's where the point when my vehicle moved in, and that's what I said. My vehicle didn't identify his command. It was identified at this point, the gun starting fire on a truck. And now it's an easy target and an easy hit. My enemy here has 4 infantry squads standing around, doing nothing. It will be more efficient to bring infantry to the front line to get some engagements or some combats. To leave the infantry at this position is, I don't know why. You can bring 1 squad here, 1 squad here, or 1 squad here, and 1 squad here to get a broader side and to get more defensive positions. I don't have a clue why he brought in this infantry and, yeah, standing around. That's it. Because it was a really expensive investment. Here we have another thing. The main gun is also active. My Marine Jaguar identified the Humvee starts firing. My Marine Jaguar goes down but I got the position. Now, I was not aware that there is an AA gun, and he catched the Dragon before the Dragon had the possibility to bomb his command. Now he brings in some Abrams and Bradley AA guns, but from my point of view, also a clear wrong decision. To cover the sector, you need to bring in infantry, and for example 1 or 2 light or medium tanks and not heavy tanks. Set up your defensive position within the sector. You need to read the terrain. This is really necessary. If you see such forest, city, tanks are not made to fight in cities or made to fight in forest. As you saw in the video beforehand, one Kustjäger took down the 2 Abrams tanks. From my point of view, after watching this replay and see all the informations I have now, it was an easy win for me, because he played the wrong units at the wrong time. Here's another funny thing. He should have been aware that here are some units from my side, and he brings in a new command vehicle into an area where he has no recon, and you can see what happened. He brings in the command, and that's it. Command down. Don't bring any command vehicle into an area where you have no recon. Recon is a key of each strategic game. If you are aware what the enemy units are, you can bring the countermeasures. If you are not aware what the enemy is bringing, then you do something wrong, because then you have not enough recon. At the beginning of this game I was really wondering, because I had a lot of recon units at strategic positions and I didn't have a clue where the enemy is coming. But it was sufficient to win this game, due to the fact that I had enough recon at the strategic points I would fight on. And therefore decide, look at the map, take the decision where to set up your recon, your units, what are the strategic points of the map, and then choose your plan, how to will bring it to an end, and which units are required, because these units are definitely the wrong choice. Now, his recon helicopter were gone down based on my Kustjäger, so he should be aware. He should be aware that there are infantry units in this forest. And then I'm completely astonished why he drive his Abrams tanks into the forest. This is unbelievable. So now you can see Kustjäger in action, because their anti-tank gun is really great. They are firing 5 shoots directly behind. As you can see, it's like a machine gun. So side armor hit. Then he lost a recon unit and he lost a very expensive heavy tank, and he did the same mistake again. These Kustjäger are definitely the best unit in the whole game. They came at a cost of 40 and killed nearly around about 300 points. Great job. But based on the fact that in this case the enemy player should be aware that there is infantry in the forest, and he tried to push the infantry out with tanks. That is not a valid option from my point of view. Now he moves in, but the game is gone. F16 MLU again, and Tau helicopter just for fun to bring down another vehicle. So Thank you for watching this game. I think the key points of this game were my enemy brought not the right units. The units he brought to the wrong terrain. And if you bring it to the forest, like if you bring tanks to the forest like that, it's always an easy kill for your enemy. So, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully see you again with my fourth match. Bye!